Because I want to see a situation whereby you hit it, you say, this is the door, and this is the place that needs this proposal. And for instance, the Power Ministry is there for you. Have you approached them with your more or less blueprint as to sorting this out?
Thank you very much. Let me be specific now. I did with the formal Presidential Advisory Committee on Power, and I was to assist voluntarily. I was to assist in the reform. I came up with my observations.
Not with this present minister.
Not with this one. I were to reform. All of a sudden, they say, well, Doc, maybe we should let the privatization exercise get concluded, because if they are privatizing and at the same time they are changing the law, that will send the wrong signals that, oh, you guys are shifting the goalposts when we're about to score. Then we thought after the privatization we are going to reform the law. Perhaps remove some of the parts of the NERC and get this discourse to play on higher levels as against playing nationally. Some could actually play in 2-3 states and become viable, even disengage the national engagement they are having. For instance, if Eko Disco, Ibadan Disco, Ikeja Discos are concentrated on the southwest, Lagos, Oyo, Ibadan, Ogun, and they have 24-hour access to electricity. It will pay. People are going to pay. Nigerians are willing to pay. It will always be cheaper to run on generated power as against diesel and the rest. It will always be economically reasonable for you to run on this. Okay. And power sector is always viable.
Okay. Mark, where?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, when you talk about off-grid generation, there's, as you rightly pointed out, there's always been that contention as to, you know, who the customers will be. I know that at some point you were told that, you know, you will be able to switch suppliers the same way you can switch supply on your telephone, even though I have wondered how that was going to work. Who is supposed to take charge? Who is supposed to be the distribution end for the off-grid suppliers?
Thank you very much. Because the structure has not been put in place, under the Constitution and not the Act, under the Constitution, it is the State House of Assembly that will make law for power generation, transmission, and distribution, those three, in respect of areas not on the grid, off-grid. So the state government should put in place a machinery. Anna said it's not going to be a water tax separation. They will work and collaborate with federal government and federal agencies. And the state also, under the second section, will set up a regulatory body. The law provides for that. The Constitution really provides for that. Clearly in the Constitution, it's there. Item 13 talks of on-grid. Item 14 of the second schedule talks of the off-grid. And power is under concurrent legislation. It is a concurrent thing. It's not exclusive. Power is concurrent. Both federal and state can legislate. And the structure we have now is federated. Everything is federal. That's not going to work. The state government ought to,
but they are not,
set up this, and they ought to invite these discos and say, Ibadan Disco, can you do 2 megawatt captive here, 1 megawatt renewables? License them. If the discos are making more money from state, they can even jack up the tariffs to 200% of what we have. What Nigerians are also not mindful of is the fact that the gas, most of these things are gas-fired. Gas pricing, regardless of domestic gas obligation, which they are not going to comply with, because gas, like the petroleum, is internationally regulated. The gas, these discos will buy gas at prevailing international prices, and they are going to use it to generate power and supply at subsidized rate. So it's not going to work.
Wasn't that why the government then had mentioned about taking a second look at the billing and the cost? And I recall so many people, I think even you kicked against it.
You see what I said? My argument is based on law. Even the judgment of Justice Idris made extensive copies to my textbook. Extensive. Is about 100-page judgment, which you say, oh, referring to learned daughter. Well, fine. I said it. Those are there. The issue is this. The structure they are running is wrong. they ought to put certain things in place before changing the tariff. I mentioned them. The metering is there. You mentioned metering. Shaibu mentioned metering. Metering is still there. Pickup is there. Aside that, if you are incapacitated by law from jacking up tariffs to a particular level, off-grid should not be that federally regulated. If you are doing off-grid, it's a question of, hey, I'm going to do this thing on 100 naira per kilowatt hour or something, and the power will be regular and steady. Nigerians will buy.
Isn't the minister looking into that, given his experience in Lagos and what he faced with the NEA?
The minister is now bored down with bureaucracies. That was why I should express my disappointment when I heard the minister now taking on the discourse, because the discourse are really, unfortunately, they are stressed.
Stressed?
Stressed in this.
What would the customers then say?
No, you see, because first and foremost, we need to be mindful. The discourse never promised Nigerian electricity as part of their electioneering. The government did.
But they promised services.
They promised services.
People pay.
Sorry, what's the meaning of this? So you don't have to promise it, because by the name alone shows that you're going to distribute electricity.
The way it works, these are business entities. These are business entities.
I'm glad that you're talking about business.
Profit motive. They're not charitable organizations.
But it's based on law. There's an agreement.
Based on law. So what I'm saying is that, okay, you're already licensed to generate and distribute power from the national grid to make more money, so that you reduce the pressure on the poor Nigerians. Go off-grid and go through the state. Before you know what is happening, the national grid will be redundant, because really, if I'm getting power and I'm paying through off-grid, through Ogun State, I said, maybe Governor Amosu is listening, I want Ogun State Electricity Regulatory Commission. Lagos State government was the forefront of the fiscal revenue thing. They went to court, and the court decided. I wonder why the Lagos State government is not in the forefront of this, because they ought to do off-grid so as to free up the megawatt or concession grid so that things will run. One, the state needs to do more. You can imagine if each of the 36 states and Abuja could generate just 500 megawatts cumulatively. You know what that one will translate to. And the problem of the debt overhang is also there. And we need to say something. It's only in a country like Nigeria we say gas. Other countries, they maximize the option. Power is something that by nature could be generated from anything and everything. Wind, natural. Sunlight, solar.
But
biomass.
We're looking towards some of those.
Even bush in Namibia. I was part
solar.
of the, a professional kind of consortium in Namibia when we were putting this together on the concept of debushing, generating power from thick forest and bush. As all these Sambisa forests, they should be generating power from there.
Let me say this. Let me respond to this before we wrap up. OWAC here thinks that the decision of Justice Idris actually mixed up the requirements and procedure for the approval of the methodology and MITO.
That would be totally wrong, because Justice Idris has a PhD, sound jurist who knows his law and will apply facts. A judge of that caliber wouldn't have just given a decision without ensuring that that is sound and has legal basis. I said here that the judgment will go that way. And I also said here that, well, on appeal, it will be upheld because the law is dead. Law is law, no sentiment. So we are not saying
it was about procedure.
It was about procedure and law. No, it's about procedure and law. And they got it wrong fundamentally. And I said here, if they jack up tariff 15 times, we're still not likely going to have stable electricity. Because of the problems are still there.
But if we now fix the laws, which you say is upside down, does that guarantee that we'll have stable electricity?
Definitely.
How? How does that sort the
Thank you very much. Now, we'll have decentralized energy option. And the role of NLC will be very clear. And we now have small-scale power generation. We can even restructure the grid and concession some of the grid. Lagos State should not be on national grid for goodness. If you free up Lagos State from the national grid, the problem of electricity is solved in this country about 60%. And if you now want to go a step further, cap off Lagos and Ogun off the national grid, concession the grid for them, let them go a lot of decentralized, renewable, off-grid. In 3 years, those states will be on 24-hour electricity generation because the population is there, people will generate, people will pay. And they can
it's a shame we're out of time, because if you've been following this, you also see that about 14 states and their governors, they've been on this NBET collaboration with solar energy, and we've also seen the minister go around. So basically, I think what you're saying in essence is that states are already generating their own electricity even without this law. So I still don't get this. I know the conversation will continue because truly we are.
States are not generating. They ought to do more. That's why they said they ought to regulate based on what the Constitution says. But they're not doing that.
And this thing is all about regulation now.
And
well, I appreciate your comment on this morning, Dr. Yemi, Associate Professor of Energy and Electricity Law, Faculty of Law, University of Lagos. Thank you for coming on this morning.
It's a pleasure.
Well, that's the show today. We thank you all for watching. You heard the NERC. Complain to them, they say, and to the discourse as well. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain also.
Really do hope we'll stay on this because it does mean so much to Nigerians. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sulaiman Alede.
Why does it feel like a Friday? Well, thank you for watching. I'm Maokbe Ogun.